And meanwhile, in the Middle East, the borders of Israel and Jordan are being flooded with refugees from Syria. And while both countries have kept their borders closed, they are providing aid and medical treatment to those who so desperately need it. Chief News Correspondent Jonathan Hunt is live on the border in Israel to tell us more about this. Hi, Jonathan.
Eric, hi. We're on the Golan Heights here looking over into Syria from the Israeli side of the border. It is an increasingly desperate and potentially dangerous situation. 160,000 refugees have fled the fighting in southwestern Syria in just the last few days. And take a look at this tent encampment just across the border into Syria, a couple of hundred yards from the border. Some 5,000 or so, I would estimate, refugees have come here looking for safety, looking for shelter. The Israeli government is sending aid in the form of tents and medical supplies and food. But as we zoom in here, you can see what is a Syrian rebel checkpoint, and that is at the heart of this, the 7-year ongoing civil war between the Syrian government and those rebels. The main fighting is taking place right now some 30 miles from where we're standing in and around the city of Daraa. The refugees have fled that fighting. They've come here. The Israeli government says there is no way they will be allowed to cross this border at any point. So you ask the question, why do they still come here anyway? The simple answer is they feel much safer because the closer they are to the Israeli border, the less likely they assume, with good reason, that they are to be the targets of Syrian government bombing raids. So they all come here, and as you look down again on that encampment, it is worth pointing out that neither the Syrian government nor the Israeli government wants any kind of clash. But as the rebels come here too, and this is rebel-held territory you're looking at some point the Syrian army, as it continues to crush the rebels, will have to come here. That's when you have the potential for some sort of accidental clash. That's when it becomes really dangerous, and that's why Israel is beefing up its military presence on this border. Just yesterday, more tanks and troop reinforcements arrived, a message to their own people that this border will not be breached, but also a clear message from the Israeli government to the Syrians, Eric, that the Syrians should not get too close, and they should be very careful. And perhaps above all, they should not allow any of the Iranian elements fighting alongside them in Syria to get anywhere near this border. It is a desperate situation for these refugees. It is a potentially dangerous one for the Middle East and the rest of the world, Eric.
It's amazing standing on the Golan looking out right over at Syria, especially considering the Iranian...
It really is. And we're just seeing across... Eric, you could just see some smoke across here. I'm not sure if you're still with us, but right in front of us, that is where the Syrian government forces are fighting the rebels. You can just see the smoke rising in the distance, a demonstration that this is very much an ongoing civil war, and the fighting creeping closer and closer to the Israeli-Syrian border, and that is what is so dangerous for this region and, as I say, for the rest of the world. Eric?
That is a vivid and compelling look exactly how close it is to Israel. Jonathan, thank you. Sandra?